Amazing.
Um, why is this doing? Okay, cool. All right, cool. If you're ready, I will do the I'll do an intro and we'll jump into it.
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. Here we go. All right. Welcome back to another live and amplified livecast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we are back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a returning special guest. We have Milena Galasso. How's it going today?
Hello, how are you? Good morning. I'm
Good.
good.
Glad to hear it. How was so you were mentioning before we jumped on here, you had a show last night. How was your show?
Yes, I did. It was so much fun, actually. We played a full set of my original songs. I played a cover. It was actually a release party because I released a song on Friday. There
Mhm.
were balloons flying, and it was fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks
And
for asking.
you're based out of the UK, correct?
Yes, in London.
And was the show in London or where was the show at?
Yes, in London, in Shoreditch.
Nice, nice, nice. So you mentioned it. You have a new song dropping or a new song out, and it's already dropped. What am I talking about? But we'll talk about that here in a second. How's everything been going? It's been a bit over a year since we've had you on last. How's everything been going for you?
Yeah, I think I had my very first interview with you, you know? So at the
Yeah.
time, I released my very first single, Summer Storm. So yes, it's been a while. It's been going well, you know? This is my fifth song that I'm releasing. It's the first song of an actual EP that I'm putting out that's coming out later on this spring. And so far, yeah, I've been pretty happy with the response that my songs have gotten so far. And the best thing is that I started playing live music and I
Mm.
absolutely love doing that. And that's when I have the most fun and I see the results of what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty
That's
great.
that's cool. I'm glad you're out playing live music because I think now that you bring that up, I think that was a conversation we had. You were kind of either gearing up to play live music or you were kind of on the fence if you were going to do that or not.
Yeah. It took me some time, you know, because like had to find the right musicians. I
Mhm.
had to, you know, I've performed live before, but I've never ever performed my own songs live.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I was like, how's that gonna work? Like we recorded so much stuff like during the production session. I'm like, how are we gonna play them live? And in the end, um, I found a really, really good team. So I'm really, really happy with my band. I love them. And we managed to like trigger some like backing tracks live and play some stuff live. And yesterday I played some guitar and piano live for the first time. So it's all like growing and yeah, I'm so happy with how it's like turning out.
Nice. That's awesome. What was there like a turning point for you where it was like, okay, I'm ready to start performing live or I want to start performing live?
Yeah, so I started performing live less than a year ago in February
Mm.
2023. I was like, you know what, I just wanted to do it. I think I've been to a few shows
Mm.
and I felt, you know how, you know what it was? I didn't feel like I was an artist until I started performing my own music. You know,
Mm.
like music was out there, great. People were listening to it. But like, who was I as an artist? I didn't know that yet
Mhm.
exactly. And once I started like playing it out, I feel like that really like started like, you know, um working really well like on my
Mm.
confidence as well and like seeing like the results of
That's
the work you're putting behind the scenes
yeah,
live was really like great.
that's really cool. That's really cool. And how's it now that you've got a few show or got several shows under your belt and several months of playing shows under your belt, how's it feeling? How you liking performing?
I love performing. I love performing. I have a good time every time. I'm a little like nervous, like I've got some nerves, but
Mm.
even yesterday, like it wasn't perfect. Like we had some issues with some cables. I kept
Mm.
kicking off some cables because I've got in-ears and I've got a mic.
Mhm.
And I also was playing guitar, so I had like three cables on me at some point. Um, but yeah, every time it's just it's so much fun, really.
Mm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, nice. And I mean, those nerves will kind of always be there because, like, I mean, even that's one thing that's always boggled my mind is especially somebody like yourself that's so young, how they just handle those, even though they may be so nervous that they're sweating on the inside and just kind of like ready to throw up or like, like whatever the analogy is. But on the outside, they look cool as a cucumber and just, it's like what they're doing is so natural. That's always been so inspiring to me.
Oh yeah, thanks. I think what I try to do and also like what helps is that usually when I perform, I have at least some of my friends
Mm,
there. So I just imagine everyone in the audience as like my really close
mm,
friends. So I just try to
nice.
like, think that they're there because they are my friends and everyone
Hmm.
is my friend. And I'm just like telling some stories or chatting some shit to my
Yeah,
friends. And that's
nice.
how I interact with them. And that really makes it easier, because
Nice.
it takes
Oh,
the pressure off.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, so let's jump right into the new single. It dropped on Friday. It's called Cold, and you said that this is the first single to an EP, right?
Yes, the EP is called I Hope You're Having Fun.
Awesome. And so what's the story behind Cold?
Well, Gold is probably like a stone. It's like maybe a milestone even. Like it's like a really tough song that like took me 3 years to write.
Oh wow.
And it's quite a sad and angry song. It's like something completely different from like what I usually write.
Hmm.
But it felt right to finally put it out. And it felt right to include it in the EP as well. And to start the release of the EP with the song
Hmm.
called. Have you listened to it?
Yes, yes, yes. I've got
Yeah,
some. I
yeah. You go on.
Go ahead. Oh no, I was going to say it's interesting that you said it's kind of a sad and angry song because when I was listening to it, it was to me, I didn't pick up any of that. It was like to me, it seemed like it was a very empowering song of
Oh,
self-discovery.
I love
Like,
that.
yeah, and so like I was just like I listened to it the first time and I started picking up those notes and I was like, no, like because the title, I think the title was kind of throwing me off. Like it should have been something a little bit angrier and a little bit more um yeah, a little bit angrier, I guess is the best way to word it. And so I listened to it the first time. I was like, man, that's just not what I'm getting from this song. And then I listened to it a second time and I'm like, yep, nope, I'm not crazy. And then a third time and a fourth time and a fifth time. And it's like, yeah, to me, that's my opinion, is it seems like a song of self-discovery and almost like you're whether the story's about you or it's a like a second person, like whatever, however you wanted to present it, it seems like the person is kind of discovering that they're they're growing up, they have different viewpoint, like it's some so yeah.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is that the title, right?
Yeah,
It's like kind of throwing you off a little bit.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
but not saying that's a bad thing, but it's
Hmm.
just kind of like it was just kind of interesting. Like when I jumped it, or when I first was like, okay, we knew about a week ago that you were coming on the podcast, a week or two ago. And so when the song dropped, I was like, okay, I saw, obviously I'd seen the promo and whatnot on Instagram and the socials. And I was like, okay, I was kind of expecting that sad, angry song. And then I started listening to it and I'm like, nope, that's just not what I'm getting from it. So yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I wanted to do with my song. I wanted it to be an empowering ballad. You're right. It is, and like it comes from an angry and sad place,
Hmm.
but it is empowering, and especially the second verse, it wants to be hopeful.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like I love to say that like the song breaks the
Yeah.
ice in a way
Yeah.
because it's like, and I like to say that this song is like taking an ice cold bath. It's like painful at first, but overall you feel refreshed and awakened after you've taken it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm really glad you got that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so with this song, what was it about? Well, you'd mentioned that this took you, what was it? Did you say 3 years to write or 3 years to release?
3 years to release. I started writing it 3 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. I guess one. one kind of constitutes the other, so it's like they were kind of one and the same. But
Yeah.
what was it like an internal struggle to get the song out, or what was it that was kind of holding you back from putting this out?
It took me a while to write it. So
Okay.
I remember the exact moment when I started having the idea. So like I moved to London recently at the time. I was like
Mm.
in my own bubble, in my own happy world, you know,
Yeah.
always living in a small city. London was kind of like big and scary, but
Mm.
I wasn't scared at all. You know what I mean? I've always been like, naive and like, I would never listen to my mom saying, don't dress like this, like get home safe and
Yeah.
like stuff like that. And it was during COVID time, so there were not even that many people around. I remember I was going home from a session. I was like working on a song with my producer. Everything
Mm.
was so fun. I was so happy, just listening back to my song, careless, on my way back home. And then somebody approached me, and at some point I felt really scared that I had to run home.
Mm.
And nothing happened, but I
Mm.
never felt that scared. And I just felt really, really angry that like I wasn't able to just like, walk down the street at night, listening to music on my headphones at maximum volume without, fearing of something that could happen to me. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And you hear about these stories all the time. I think at the time we had a case of a woman getting, you hear about these stories all the time. I don't even want to get into it. And that's just what upsets me so much, that we
Mm.
don't talk about it enough. And recently something happened like, and very close to like where I was from in my
Mm.
region. And that shook me even more. So like I already had the release like planned. And when that happened, I was like, no, this is like the perfect time. I really want to put the song out. I want to
Mm.
say my opinion. I want people to listen, But when I got home and I started writing the song, I got the first verse down, what it is
Mm.
now.
Yeah.
And I felt that was really powerful. But then I was struggling so much with coming up with the chorus, because I didn't like, such a delicate topic that I didn't have the right words. I didn't exactly know. I didn't want it to be just like a light
Mm.
hearted song. Like I didn't
Yeah.
want to, I wanted to give the topic justice.
Mm.
So for a while I just couldn't find the right chorus and I put it aside. And then later on, I think a year later, I showed it to my friend
Mm.
Phil Boothwood, with whom I started working on a few songs at the time. And then I showed him the song and he was like, we've got to finish the song because it's so powerful. And it's even so important to me that like, I wrote it with a guy, because
Mm.
like it's got a male's perspective in it
Mm.
as well. And it really gave light and, it really gave the song what it deserved. So that's how we finished writing it. And then it took us a little longer to, get the production down
Yeah.
and then record it. And we were so lucky we got to record the piano at Angel Studios and the
Mm.
vocals at Abbey Roads.
Yep.
So it was really worth the wait. And now we just like, we're planning the release of it, and
Yeah.
January was perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the story, yeah.
Nice. I saw the Abbey Road post. Like Instagram throws me off every once in a while. Because you know how like you can pin posts to stay at the top of your Instagram feed. For whatever reason, I saw the Abbey Road thing and I thought that was a recent post. And so I clicked on it. I was like, oh, cool. We'll have something fun to talk about. And then I saw it was from like 6 months
Mark.
ago or whatever. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, we'll still have something cool to talk about. But yeah,
Yeah.
it threw me off though. I was like, oh, that's something new. And I was like, nope, that's like 6 months old. What do we do? Yeah. So
Yeah,
uh
so we recorded it 6 months ago. Yeah, we recorded two songs there actually.
mm,
This one and the next one that's coming out soon,
nice.
which is a fun one.
What was that experience like recording in a iconic studio like Abbey Road?
Wow, I was like so excited. Like I just couldn't stop like jumping, and like I was so happy. I was so focused. I was like, it felt like a milestone again. Like
Yeah.
when I was walking down the corridors and I was seeing all these names, and obviously you can't take pictures or
Mm,
photos, and I was
yeah.
whoa, so cool. And we were just like in the tiniest studio of the Abbey Road studios,
Yeah.
maybe 74 or
Yeah.
something, but
Yeah.
still, it was such good vibes. And I remember we recorded on this microphone that the guys told me that like Christina Aguilera recorded on it, or Lady
Nice.
Gaga, or
Yeah.
both, or like they were throwing names at me, and he was like, yeah, this mic is like worth like a lot, so make sure you don't drop it. I'm like, okay, no. But it was such a good mic. I think, yeah,
Nice.
it
It,
was amazing. Yeah, a bit, I felt a bit the nerves as well, because like obviously it's, you're in such a temple of like the music
yeah.
history, and yeah, I felt very honored.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like you kind it's like you get the initial excitement about something like that where it's like, oh cool, I get to record it Abbey Road Studios. That's awesome. And then you go in and actually like start setting up or preparing like the day of the recording, and then you start understanding the gravity of the situation where it's like, oh, like I'm on a different level right now because insert every musician that has ever done anything in the industry has probably recorded on this mic, and I'm about to share this mic with them. And it's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
exactly how I felt, and that's not to say that, I am Lady Gaga or anything, but like
yeah.
in my dreams, that felt like right.
Hmm.
Like one day, maybe, you never know.
Nice. Nice. So Cold, it's out now. People can listen to it. It's on Spotify and all that stuff. Why did you choose this as your first representation of this EP?
Because um, I am not sure, to be honest, because the time was right. I
Okay.
think, the time was right, and I just wanted to also show like a shift in the tone. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, because the other songs are like, I call them like a little bit of an experiment, because they were the
Hmm.
first songs that I worked on during my master's. So I was just going with it and having fun with it. I wasn't really thinking of a project as
Hmm.
something like that I really want to, like my message and my branding and all that. This song felt right, like it sets the tone for like an audience, and
Hmm.
it's a serious song. So it kind of like shows that I am serious about what I do, and that I
Yeah.
care, and that I want to convey important messages, and
Yeah.
hopefully, one day be a bit of a role model to
Mm.
someone. Because
Nice.
that's what like musicians have been to me, and that's what
Yeah.
I want to be to someone one day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I felt right.
It's that's so cool to kind of hear you say that. It's like having known you for a little less than a year and a half, a little over a year, less than a year and a half. It's kind of in that weird time frame, and having followed your career for that long, it it's almost like I just see the path for you, like kind of seeing where you were when we first met, and now getting to talk to you and seeing this strong, I want to say stronger connection to music because you're thinking about different things and you're being very um thoughtful about how you put music out and how you and the songs that you're the type of songs that you're putting out. It's like I I can't wait to see where you're at in 2 3 years. Like I mean, just your raw talent is so amazing. I really appreciate you. So
Thank you so much. Thank you. That
yeah.
means the world.
And I was looking through your social media last night as I was just I was eating dinner and I was just kind of scrolling through Instagram and whatnot. And I was like, her ability, this is me thinking to myself, your ability to find that right balance on social media where you have your music, like for Instagram specifically, because that's kind of where I spend a lot more of my time recently, is it's your music page, but you still treat it like your personal page, but it doesn't get too off the walls, if that makes sense.
That's so good to hear. I'm really glad. It's kind of hard. Like social medias are always hard, and it's kind of hard to find a balance,
Hmm.
I think. But you know what it is? It's also like I am myself. That is
Hmm.
my name on social media. That
Hmm.
is both my name and my artist name. And as an artist, I want to be true to myself.
Hmm.
So I feel like, if people want to listen to my music,
Yeah.
they also want to know something about myself, and that's just who I am. So I try to like, not separate the two things. Otherwise you will get like a, how do you call it, an imposter syndrome type of
Yeah,
thing. I don't
yeah,
want that.
yeah, for sure. It helps like your fans and your supporters, and they'll like really draw a connection with you as a person, as a musician, as an artist, because they see you at your good times, they see you at your bad times, and I think they'll really grow to appreciate you more as you start growing as a musician.
Thanks.
So as you look forward to the upcoming, like the continued release of this EP, what's kind of running through your head right now? Where are you kind of at in that whole process?
What kind of what? Sorry.
Now, with the upcoming release of your
Yeah.
EP, where are you kind of at in that do you know like all the songs that are going to be on there? Are you
Oh,
like, yeah,
yeah, I've got the songs, I've got the release dates. Just hoping that everything goes smoothly from now on, because things can change a bit, and I still have
mm,
so much work to do.
yeah,
But I'm not on my own this time, which is great. I've got a manager now, and she's brilliant. She's amazing. She's like my best friend.
nice,
So that makes me feel relaxed about it.
nice,
Um, Shout out to Aspa, my little star.
nice,
And yeah, that's where I'm at with the EP, and then I'm just like gonna roll with it and see where it takes me. Like, I'm gonna play it live, and yeah, just I'm still like writing new music in the meantime. So like, hopefully by the time the EP is out, I'll have something else like ready to
nice.
go.
And
But it's really something to look forward to, and that makes me happy.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah, nice. That's cool. Like, I love the fact that you're already like, it's so, as a creative person, it's so hard to think about the next, like when you're in the middle of releasing a project or promoting a project, it's so hard to think about the next project. But where the industry's at nowadays, it's kind of like you, if you're not already thinking about the project after the next project, like in the back of your mind, you're already behind the, like you've got to be thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead in this industry.
of course, and especially like when you're an independent artist, like, and everything like it takes just so much time because of
Mhm.
budgeting, because of like everyone's availability and stuff like that. So like I'm just hoping that like with time everything will just run quicker and
Mhm.
smoother.
Yeah.
But yeah, for now, I really, even if I'm thinking about it, I'm still like, I'm an overthinker. So I'm kind of like already stressing out about what's gonna come after.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's more the fear of the unknown, like just not knowing what's coming next. Not, especially when you're an independent artist and everything like right now everything counts because I would assume you're require or expecting any money you make from this EP release to help fund the next project, and then the next, and so it's just kind of like you're living paycheck to paycheck, which I'm sure you're probably not, like in reality probably not, but it's like it's so, to me it'd be really nerve-wracking because like right now everything counts and it has to mean something. So
It does. It really
yeah,
does. That's
but
why it's so hard, and that's why I'm so grateful that like people are supportive.
yeah, yeah. So with cold out now, what's kind of the plans for the next couple of weeks, months? Are you just playing shows? Are you like, what's the plans for the next couple of weeks?
Cold is out, so I'm planning to like, promoting it as much as possible, like
Hmm.
post on social media as much as I can. And there's been some articles written about it. I need to share
Nice.
all that, do some playlisting still,
Yeah,
all that jazz. And but I'm also working on the next release already.
nice.
And the next show that I have planned, it's on the 9th of February, and it's actually a competition. I haven't even announced it yet.
Nice.
But the tickets go live tomorrow.
Awesome.
And it's the quarterfinals to get a chance to play at a festival this summer, which is Isle of Wight. So fingers crossed that goes well.
Nice.
Um, you know, yeah,
Nice.
I'm hoping to play at some festivals this summer. I'd say that would be the dream.
Nice. That's I'm working on coming over for a festival in April. I just got to try
Oh,
and figure
nice.
out I just got to try and figure out the funding situation because it's not a cheap flight and not a cheap like if you're going to stay there for an extended period, it's not cheap in general. So I'm trying to figure that whole thing out.
That's
So
the thing with London. London is just so expensive.
yeah, and luckily it's on the South Coast, so it's like
Okay.
fly into London and it's a little bit cheaper, but still I got to get from London to Portsmouth, so it's just kind of like that's going to be a little bit tricky, but
Trains are not cheap.
no, no, not at all. So are you planning on doing a music video for this? Because that's the one thing I've really enjoyed about you is you're a love to still put out music videos and stuff.
Yes, I love doing music videos. So the music video situation right now is a little bit in standby, as
Mhm.
in like we had something, we planned something, but it's just kind of like not, you know, the
Mhm.
right time, or we don't really have the budget for this one, but we
Yeah,
really want to do one music video for sure for the EP. But I'm thinking more of a one of the fun songs, because
yeah,
this song, I think it's just a standalone that I wouldn't even really know exactly what to put in a music video. We had
yeah,
the idea of having like a dancer. I know a really good dancer who danced in my choreographed actually my previous music videos. A big
yeah.
shout out, Easy. But we just haven't really done it yet. But there will be music videos, hopefully, yeah, for the EP.
Gotcha. Because like just looking at like some of the social graphics you put out for this and like the single image the cover image or I don't even know what Spotify calls them anymore. It's like I
Artwork,
think what's that?
the artwork, I think.
Yeah, the artwork. There you go. Um I think you could do something really simple and people would still enjoy it. Like, you know,
There is a lyrics video coming out,
yeah. Cool.
but
Cool, cool.
yeah.
So, um so with all this going on, obviously it's a little bit stressful. So how do you deal with like stress and stuff like that when you're like realizing what's going on? How are you kind of handling your stress right now?
Um, I how do I handle stress? It's a really good question. Like, well, I haven't signed up to a gym yet, but I do
Mhm,
really enjoy working out. So this week I've tried two different gyms. You know how you
mhm.
can do three
Yeah.
trials.
Yeah.
That's one way that I deal with stress. And then I play music. I
Nice.
just play music. I find that like when I'm doing productive things, then I stress out less.
Hmm.
Um, but it's good to take time off as well. Like, for example, later tonight, I'm going for a roast dinner with my flatmates and we're going to go to a pub quiz. So,
Nice.
even though I kind of rarely allow myself to take time off, and that's really, really bad, today
Hmm.
it's off.
Nice. Nice. I'm trying to do that too, where it's like when I'm not at work at my day job, it's like I'm here working on this stuff, either doing podcasts, editing podcasts, and doing other video content.
Never
And
stop.
yeah, it's a never stop mentality. And then you realize, like, oh, hey, I've got these friends that I haven't seen in 6 weeks because
Yeah.
I'm busy. And then most of them are musicians anyway. So they're out playing every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it's like, oh, I haven't even seen them play in 6 months. Maybe I need to like pull back a little bit on Friday night and go see them play or, something like that. So,
Yeah, exactly. It's so important to allow yourself to have, an evening off. Like if you work the whole
mhm.
day, take the evening off, or
Yeah,
vice versa.
yeah,
Take the day off and just go for a walk or do something.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So have you been to any good shows recently? Like, is that something else that you do in your, like, when you're not focusing on your music, you'll go see
Yeah.
other people play?
Yeah. I always go to my friends' shows when I can, when I'm not, yeah, when I'm unavailable, just because, like, I think if you are available, and if you want to go out, like, just go and support, because like that's most important thing. But I've
Mhm.
been to some really good shows as well. I seen Katie Baser recently
Okay.
at yeah in London, and she was so much fun. It was really inspiring. A lot of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always that's always really those types of shows are always really cool when it like the high energy shows are always really fun to be at.
Yeah, such a
So
performer.
yeah.
Mm.
So if anybody wants to check out your music or any of your interact with you on social, any of that fun stuff, where's the best place to find you?
Message me on Instagram. I try to reply to everyone. And music-wise, Spotify
Yes.
and music and any of those platforms. If you have Spotify and you're not following me already, please click follow because that means
Yes.
a lot. I'm trying to get to 1,000.
Nice. Nice.
um, and yeah, just message me. I love seeing people's messages.
Yeah. I just had to do a double take to make sure I was actually following you on Spotify. It's like, oh, yep, I'm following you. I'm good.
Amazing.
Because since we switched the podcast over to primarily Spotify, I'm starting to realize like the importance of all the file. Like, I'm starting to get an education on the importance of like certain things within Spotify and stuff like that. So,
Yes. Yeah,
but
the algorithm is really, yeah.
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 For sure. For sure. So once again, I appreciate you so much for sitting down and chatting with me. I know I was a little nervous because it was like originally I was supposed to be out in New Mexico and that's like an hour earlier. So it was going to be like 8:30 in the morning instead of 9:30 in the morning. And it
Oh,
was
we could
like,
come later.
no, it was one of those things where I wanted to do it earlier because like once I start working when I'm in New Mexico, it's like it's nonstop. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. And then we had a massive cold front that came through and it's supposed to be like ice and all this stuff coming in and I'm like I'm not coming back into town on Monday with ice and high winds and freezing temperatures. I'm gonna just stay home. I'm not going. I'm not
I
traveling.
understand that. I want summer or all year long.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I I don't mind cooler days, but when it's in like the teens and there's thought for ice and all that stuff, it's like, nah, I'm
No.
good. So I'm good.
But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure again.
Yeah, absolutely. Always enjoyed chatting with you. Once again, please everybody go out there, follow Milena on Spotify, listen to her song Cold and all her songs coming up for the brand new EP. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And we'll have to try and get you back on once the entire EP is out.
Yeah,
So
100%.
awesome. Awesome. But once again, thank you all so very much. And we will catch you all later.
Have a great Sunday.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Awesome. Where's my stop recording?